Not sure if you should be scheduling pins for Pinterest or pinning manually? Is it better to pin directly from the Pinterest website or to use a scheduler like Tailwind? This is one of the most hotly debated questions when it comes to Pinterest marketing. Hey there, bosses. It's Natalie Bardo, your Pinterest coach here. And if you love Pinterest marketing tips, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe because I've got weekly Pinterest training coming your way. So you might be wondering if you should be scheduling your pins or manually pinning. This is especially a hot debate as the Pinterest algorithm changes and the platform in general shifts to becoming more of a business, and a lot of users are seeing a fall in their stats, especially impressions and maybe even clicks. So everyone is wondering, is it because I'm using Tailwind why my pins are getting such low impressions and clicks? Is the answer to use manual pinning? And it really doesn't help when there are so many posts online, especially in Facebook groups, claiming that I shift to manually pinning and everything magically became better. Or I quit Tailwind because that was the problem. Yeah, I feel like these are just anecdotal stories. I think that manually pinning is just one of those top Pinterest myths. I got a whole video where I went myth busting. But first, how about we just go over what exactly each side of this debate is talking about? So what does it mean to manually pin? To manually pin, it means that you're pinning in real time. So say, for example, I'm on my blog. This post was just published, and I'm going to pin in real time this pin to Pinterest. So I'm going to select the board. I know I got a morning routine board. So I'm going to pin it there. So that was me manually pinning. So every time you're on Pinterest, you're using your phone, you're on the app, and you're pinning to your boards. That's manually pinning. Also, if you're uploading your pins directly to Pinterest, so we can see here, I'm using the Pinterest scheduler and I'm choosing a board to pin this to. This is me manually pinning. So what does scheduling look like? Using a scheduler like Tailwind, for example, means that I've got all my pins laid out in advance. So here you can see on Tailwind, I've got all these pins scheduled for weeks and months into the future. I can bulk upload multiple pins at once. I can upload all of these together and schedule them. I can choose the specific date and time that I want these pins to go out. You can also schedule pins on the Pinterest website 2 weeks out. You can select the time and obviously the day and select your boards and schedule your pins ahead of time. So at the core of this debate, whether it's better to schedule pins or manually pin, is this assumption that using the Pinterest website is somehow better than using a scheduler. That Pinterest rewards you for using their platform in real time. Here's the thing. Pinterest itself has said during their interviews with Tailwind that it doesn't matter if you manually pin or schedule, that the platform doesn't see either of these as any different. And further evidence to this, that there is no difference, that Pinterest doesn't hide your pins or somehow diminish them or see them as lesser quality than your manually pinned pins, is that Tailwind, and most of these debates are about using Tailwind, is that Tailwind is actually a partner of Pinterest. It's listed as one of their preferred partners. It's approved. So here on their website, it says that it helps you create and publish smarter, right? So let's focus on that word smarter. Why you should focus on scheduling your pins instead of doing it manually is that it's a better use of your time. Think about it. Just one pin can take you a few minutes. You got to upload it, you got to write your title, your description, then publish. But when you're using a scheduler like Tailwind, you can bulk upload your pins. It allows you to not only get more done in a small amount of time, but to plan ahead. So we could say that the concession is, or even the middle ground to this debate is scheduling pins on Pinterest itself, that you can use the Pinterest scheduler. But even then, you can only schedule 2 weeks at a time. So to answer this question, I've actually got two answers for you. One, it's the wrong question. And two, it doesn't have to be either or. I'll start with the second one first. You don't have to make a choice between scheduling and manually pinning. At the end of the day, Pinterest marketing and having a successful strategy and a workflow that works for you is all about using a platform in a way that fits the time and dedication that you have. Whatever is going to make it easy for you to be as consistent as possible, that's the strategy that you choose. So if you manually pinning a couple times a week works for you, then do that as long as you can consistently do it. But if you're more of a person who likes to plan ahead and to sit down and get all your Pinterest pinning, say you're scheduling done once a month or once every couple of months, then scheduling with something like Tailwind is going to work for you. So the second part of this, and my first point was that we're actually asking the wrong question. The question shouldn't be, is manually pinning better than scheduling, or is scheduling better than manually pinning? The question should be, why are people claiming or actually having success with manually pinning over scheduling? And it comes down to this. When you're manually pinning, you're being more careful and intentional with your pinning. You are intentionally choosing the best times to pin. Whereas if you're using a scheduler, you're just like, oh, okay, let's just go with the times that Tailwind has set for me and forget it. You don't go back and tweak your schedule. This is mostly when you set up your profile, you set it and forget it. But here's the thing. When you are manually pinning, you're more likely to shift your strategy, to focus on the times that your pins go out that have the most success. So stop asking whether it's better to schedule your pins or to manually pin them, and instead focus on finding the strategy that works best for you and your Pinterest workflow, and B, finding out when it is best to intentionally pin. So schedule if you want to, but pick the right times and the right days of the week. Manually pin if you want to, but focus on the right times and the right days of the week to pin. So if you're brand new to this concept, typically there are a lot of studies out there and they say that the best times to pin are late in the evenings on Pinterest. That could work for some, but you've got to focus on yourself, the time zone you're in, the days of the week where your traffic does best, and the perfect place to check is actually in your Google Analytics. So right in Google Analytics on the home page, if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see there's this chart that says, when do your users visit? So especially if your traffic is predominantly coming from Pinterest, this chart is going to be invaluable to you. So you can see here, the darker patches is when your traffic is at its highest. So you want to capitalize on pinning at these times. Whether you're scheduling or manually pinning, this is the best time of day for you. And this is going to be different for every website. So take a look here at Carly's from 52 Cities blog. It looks completely different to my own. Her best time to pin is going to be those late nights, Monday to Wednesday. So take a look at your own analytics to figure out what's the best time for you to pin. And the next time you question whether manually pinning or scheduling is right for you, just remember it's about what works for you, not necessarily about what's working for me or anyone else. You've got to fit it into your own strategy. So, because with these frequently asked Pinterest questions, I love to reach out to others to see where they stand on these questions like manually pinning or scheduling. So, I posted in my favorite Facebook group, which is the Mediavine community, asking, are you manually pinning or scheduling? What's actually working for you? And here's what they had to say. So, almost 200 bloggers who are making a profit posted, and the number one response was manually pinning, 97 votes. And then coming in second place, we've got 47 votes for scheduling with Tailwind. Then 26 votes for using Pinterest's built-in scheduler, and then 16 votes for using Tailwind and manually pinning. And lastly, only 2 votes for scheduling with another scheduler. Canva and Later are also approved partners for scheduling with Pinterest. So I'll let you know that I actually do a combination of scheduling with Pinterest and scheduling with Tailwind. And I manually pin anytime a new post is published. So if you've been holding off on using Tailwind, be sure to click the link below and start your free 30-day trial. You can see what it's all about. So if you enjoyed this video and you've got some clarity on your Pinterest strategy, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and comment down below letting me know, do you manually pin or schedule? And if you schedule, what scheduler do you use? And don't forget to subscribe because I've got more videos just like this one coming your way each and every week. Speaking of videos, be sure to check this one out. It's going to be helpful to you. See you in the next one.